Despite DC having their fair share of reboots between Hippolyta are very similar. I'll be going over both of them in this video just for the heck of it. I'll try my best to specify when I jump between the two. Majority of the video is going to be this her, but there's going to be points when I say, oh yeah, in newer comic stuff, this Hippolyta, like moments in the video when I say that, that's what I'm talking about, this one. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever watched the live action Wonder Woman movie and wondered to yourself, how strong is Wonder Woman's mama herself? She doesn't really have no screen time in live action, but I thought it would be fun to go over her comic self. You can call her Hippolyta, or one can even say you can call her Wonder Woman. Yes, that's right. Wonder Woman's mama has taken the title of Wonder Woman from time to time. It's one of them situations where you might actually get her confused in certain panels because she might look exactly like Diana or Wonder Woman in certain panels, especially the way she dresses, but it's in fact Wonder Woman's mom. She seems to not be a hater type of mom because she even straight up admitted she thinks her daughter looks better in a swimsuit than she does. She's extremely bold. Like, she would ask inappropriate questions like, have you made love to my daughter, to the man? Like, whoa, crossing some boundaries, ain't we? Yeah, she really loves her daughter Diana, Wonder Woman. She spent 3 millennia serving as the queen of the Amazons, you know, the Wonder Woman people. Way back in the day, like before technology was good and stuff, you know, men and women existed. There was this man that was in trouble. There was this girl that tried to help, but this guy was kind of like a savage. Man gets kind of savage and pretty much murders her out of cold blood, out of hatred, basically. Luckily, thanks to the way this world is built, her soul went somewhere else. You can see it literally shooting out of her. Like, you can literally see there's like this cavern of souls. It's where people await rebirth. It says, in truth, this is the source from which all life once sprung. It is the womb of Gaia, Mother Earth, mother of us all, of course. When a female's soul, her lights was cut short by a man's anger or hatred. And this is pretty much how Hippolyta came into being, one can say, because of this well of souls. No, not Shang Tsung's well of souls from Mortal Kombat. Anyway, this well of souls was basically like Gaia's womb, I guess. The gods got involved. You can even see Aphrodite right here. And this is pretty much how Hippolyta got born. You see her being born or reborn, one can say. And of course, she's not the only one. Thousands of other re-embodied souls emerge, each drinking joyfully the breath of new life, right? Like here, for example, right here is basically the Greek goddesses of the DC universes, you know, Greek mythology. It was these goddesses that pretty much bestowed the task of Hippolyta and the other Amazons to be the chosen race born to lead humanity in the ways of virtue, the way of Gaia. Athena granting you wisdom, Artemis granting you skills in the hunt, Aphrodite granting you the gift of love, and Hippolyta is the queen of all their daughters. From here on, they will form a sacred sisterhood. They should be called Amazons. When we're talking about her new lore, there's still similarities, even though it's technically a reboot and rebirth. When it comes to the Well of Souls, like you see this little well right here, it's similar stuff like post-crisis era about how Hippolyta were the first to arrive. They forged a path for all the Amazons. Right here, it just shows it has a lot of similarities to the old lore. So even in the new lore, when it comes to the Cavern of Souls, you guys know that 9 yards, Themyscira was thriving and others noticed our great paradise. They welcomed Hercules. You see where this is going. And his men, expecting allies in our mission of peace, because that was the goal. You already know that stuff. At that moment, Hercules and them were their friends. But of course, it went sideways. It was all a lie. And very similar, but a few differences or changes here and there, obviously. The Amazons, Hippolyta included, got stuff done, spilled a lot of blood. It was really dark and gruesome. Something she was trying to forget. One could say one minor difference to this Hercules stuff is that the bracelet that Wonder Woman used to use were shattered by Hercules. They had to reforge them, right? And briefly, I want to mention the standard gear, of course, similar to Wonder Woman and how Wonder Woman has standard gear. You know, you got a sword that can cleave atoms. Due to her being heavily related to the Greek mythology, she might even get extra weapons from time to time, like Poseidon loaning her his staff or trident. Like in new comics, for example, Rebirth, for example, there's a spear that she has in her arsenal. It's enchanted and unbreakable, apparently, and she used it. She can also wield other type of weapons, like axe-like looking weapons and stuff. Like you see her using weapons like this. And just for those that forget, she can use a bow and arrow. So she's versatile and skilled with multiple different types of weapons. In newer comics, it's implied she still can use different type of weapons, like marksmanship, using different guns and such. Like they're playing like a game here. Yo, this is a weird sight of Amazonian, like her using an actual gun. I love when comics actually take the time to intricately draw out the panels when it comes to them using actual fighting skills. I love it because it's more immersive. The show is she's not all about her physical strength and stuff, but she actually has skills. Like, for example, Hippolyta, she's a legit fighter, like can actually fight. I like when characters have super strength that can actually fight like Hippolyta. Even in newer comics, it's stated centuries ago, Hippolyta has been fighting to show she legit has fighting experience. Using the standard shield and sword, it's a common theme. There's even occasions where Hippolyta is technically disarmed But she simply says an Amazon is never disarmed. She doesn't rely on her weapon. She can do straight hands, even if her sword or something break. You can get an idea of her gear in this occasion right here. This little panel, you can see all the different gear, like the multiple different shields, mirrors, the different kind of swords, axes. She's very versatile when it comes to what she can use. You know, the standard protective body gear. When she's Wonder Woman, of course, got the standard Wonder Woman gear, bracelets, shield. Just like Wonder Woman, she's had her fair share of gear, like this epic armor, for example, one of the many, the golden armor. Hippolyta stated she had the gauntlets of Atlas, which increases her strength, sandals of Hermes for speed. Yes, the same Atlas in DC lore that be holding up the sky or heaven's immeasurable weight crap Atlas, like the one from the feats that he has from Myth of holding the sky or heavens. It's present in DC, by the way. Even in newer comics, they say this about Atlas. It's just a common theme when it comes to his lore, holding the heavens on his shoulders. You know, the lore. Let me stop. You get the idea. So naturally, trying to lead in love and make a better world better, even making men and women get along. There was Amazons that would have relations with men and stuff. Beings like Hercules in DC Comics, she's trying to get cool with and good graces with to get unity between the man and the woman. That's when we see this other side of Hercules where he says, you ain't equal to me. Then he chains up Hippolyta, takes her girdle from Gaia, of course. Like, dang, Hercules, you ain't even let her get no clothes. Athena pulls up pretty much telling him that vengeance is not the way. She was like, Athena, release me because I want to get revenge. And she said, no, revenge is not the way. Instead, actually technically puts her on punishment because the Amazons grew bitter and corrupt. The punishment, so hopefully one day it will cleanse their soul. And that's when that settled that. She busted out, and then she just had like this rage frenzy towards men, messing up these men here, releasing her Amazon sisters so they all can get free out of rage. Their goal is to spread peace, but now that's when they was pretty much sent exiled to this island of Themyscira, which is going to be their new home, all eternity, not aging. Poseidon clears a path to the sea so they can go there to their new home. That's when they get there, you see them build and do all this good stuff like this. All because she got the advantage over Hercules because of her raw fighting skills. I guess she's the queen of the Amazons for a reason, and Hercules was bitter about it and said, you can't be equal to me. This dude butthurt about this. Thanks to being heavily involved with the Greek goddesses, Amazons in general are just stronger than your normal human by default, along with their immortality. Physically, when it comes to raw physical strength of lifting stuff up, super strength, they have super speed, all that good stuff thanks to being blessed. Like right here, it's literally confirmed they was blessed. Just a heads up, don't be surprised if you see a lot of scans of Hippolyta looking like Wonder Woman because she was actually Wonder Woman for a set time. One of the best ways to tell which one is her, Hippolyta or Wonder Woman, is how the outfits look in this particular scan, for example. You see how the breastplate looks. You can kind of see she got more yellow around this area than Wonder Woman, the real Diana that we're used to. You see what I'm saying? The differences. I'm just trying to be helpful. I'm not gonna lie. In Rebirth, I actually like her Wonder Woman outfit because it gives her her own identity. White outfit. She got the classic purple she always likes to wear in Rebirth. Like, here's another angle of it. I actually like this outfit for her, but looks completely different than Wonder Woman, even though she's got the mantle of Wonder Woman here. So that's why you see her do superhuman stuff like ripping open cars. Yeah, she has this kind of strength physically to do stuff like this. Thick structures that shouldn't be possible for humans to rip open. You see her rip stuff open like this with her raw physical strength. It seems to be a perk of her being the firstborn of the Amazons that she apparently has the strength of 10 Amazons, implying she has more than the average strength of a normal old Amazon, plus her 3,000 years of experience. One could argue thanks to 3,000 years of experience that can make her stronger than the others as well. One could say, like, if we was to compare Amazons to the strongest men in the world, I think we all could agree that the Amazons would still technically be stronger. Wouldn't you agree? But Hippolyta is supposed to be stronger than 10 Amazons. 10 beings are stronger than the strongest men in the world, one could say. And so there's some deadlift records out there in the real world. That's beings that can actually deadlift 1,000 plus pounds. Just imagine Hippolyta being a bare minimum 10 times this. If we are to take these numbers seriously, a bare minimum of 10,000 pounds, we already know off gate that Hippolyta can lift based on that. It's kind of proven when trader Amazons, even if it's 3 of them, she seems to be able to handle all of them. She's more elite than your average Amazon, obviously. Grown men, beings like the Atom, for example, Hippolyta's strength is amazing to the point where she can just toss him, even calling him a little man. She's fiery. That's why she did this strength. You guys know how airplanes built, and it has like the little BS like this, like the rudder to help it run right or fly right. We've seen her help planes to help it be able to turn the right way, acting as its rudder. Like when it comes to her raw strength, she's up there with the heavy hitters because Wonder Woman hit her this far, right? And you see how Wonder Woman's standing there, and you see a giant plane come through, proving that she can lift over 50 plus tons. Stuff like this obviously should be light work to somebody in her tier of strength. She more than likely can lift or hold planes with one arm, if we're being honest. But stuff like this kind of does imply that she should be up there with the powerhouses. Like, she literally fought Hercules, god of strength, son of Zeus himself, And thanks to her skills, probably not a weakling either, but he might have the strength advantage. Thanks to her skills, she was able to get the upper hand of who clearly has super strength, and it doesn't seem to matter that much. She still seems to get the upper hand on him. I bring this up a lot in my DC videos, but it's implied that just like in myth, DC, Hercules, and Atlas have similar feats of myth, like holding the heavens or the skies. It's implied Hercules might have done this feat too in this universe. If so, this would mean that characters like Atlas and Hercules, since Hercules has actually relieved Atlas of his duty, it's implied that Hercules has lifted the heavens on his shoulders in this universe, DC Comics as well. This is even shown in newer comics like this, for example, but also happens in old comics. So it's like it's a reoccurring theme. No matter what reboot, no matter which version, Hercules seems to always have myth feats in DC Comics of holding the heavens. Same with Atlas. Hercules relieving Atlas of his duty, holding the world at the very least. And there's writer intent that she's somewhere in the ballpark of her own daughter when it comes to raw strength with the punches right here, for example. And we know what Wonder Woman has lifted in DC, even if you don't want to count that heavens lifting stuff. Just like how Diana Wonder Woman was able to help out with Martian Manhunter and Superman to be able to drag or pull the Earth itself, there's implications that the writers could want Hippolyta to be able to produce the same feats when it comes to being a Wonder Woman. They're implying they want her to be similar based on how they're implying how her punches can damage Wonder Woman, implying similar strength levels, you know, writer intently wise. This could imply that Hippolyta could also move or lift the Earth too, or pull it, or hold the Earth on her back, or some crap. You know, I'm gonna get back to this though. You guys know the Captain Marvel family, or one could say the Shazam family. You know how Captain Marvel, the Shazam, is the main one, right? The strongest one, right? But he has other members of the crew, like Freddie Freeman and other powerhouses in the Shazam family or Captain Marvel family. Like in raw strength, Captain Marvel level beings have always been a match for Superman in raw strength. I mean, it makes sense because Captain Marvel has the strength of Hercules and the power of Zeus and stuff, the power of the gods, quite literally. And what if I told you we've actually seen Wonder Woman's mom get in an arm wrestling contest with these beings, implying, even though this is a fun occasion, it's implying that it's not a easy win for somebody in the Captain Marvel ranges of power arm wrestling Hippolyta. He even goes as far as saying, I have the strength of Hercules on his side. This gives more narrative and writer intent on Hippolyta's strength being in the ranges with the heavy hitters, like how Wonder Woman can move the Earth and how the other gods, like DC Hercules, are implied in myth lore to be able to hold the heavens, just like kind of like Atlas, them changing burdens, switching turns, holding the heavens, you know, that kind of stuff seems to still apply. It's really hard to imagine Wonder Woman's mom being this strong to hold the planet itself, ain't it? But hey, the writers wouldn't have them arm wrestling if they wasn't somewhere in a similar level of power. Just molly-whopping beings this size with just straight fists, so she can punch really hard, obviously. Oh, don't get it twisted. She can punch really hard with all this super strength too. I mean, and she's a trained fighter, so it makes sense for her to be able to punch so hard. It looks like she can level a big chunk of a building, punching beings through churches and buildings and such. Yes, her powerful hands or punches can do this to a building, basically. We've seen her battle other super powerful beings that are also stronger than normal humans, like Hawkman, for example. You see her clashing blades here, blocking with a shield, and even technically made Hawkman sleepy. Artemis, don't try to get bucked with the Amazon Queen. She can take your hits and hit you back to show you what time it is. She's got all this strength, super strength, but one could say you can add all this super strength on top of her sword because her sword itself can cleave atoms, so it's ridiculously sharp. A slight example of how hard she can cut it, or one could say her striking power mixed with her sword makes cutting power that can slice off the statue head of Abraham Lincoln. And it's not just stuff like that, but just creatures in general she cuts up with the blade. Y'all should just know better if you see her with a blade in her hand. She even does this to the hellspawn of the Hydra. No heads for you, just by wielding a blade. I mean, it's a fictional world of DC, so you know demons exist. They got to slice up consecutively with her cutting power. And just like the movies portray, it's a no-no against Nazis. Y'all get sliced up. Alrighty, here we go. There was this being known as Imperiex. He had like drones and stuff that were mighty enough to blast and make Doomsday into a freaking skeleton. Imperiex, this being, has drones, aka little baby versions of himself that can actually beat Titans, like off screen, of course. Like when it comes to Imperiex, keep in mind this is not the real Imperiex. This is just drones of them that's strong enough to pretty much take on armies of beings that are not necessarily called weaklings either. I'm talking about like Daxamites. Due to the way DC Comics is built, destroying planets is nothing. So it's no surprise that Imperiex drone can actually blast away a planet with its staff, for example. Not only destroys a planet, but it's implied he can even make a black hole. You're probably wondering, why am I bringing this up? What does this have to do with Hippolyta? Well, it has a lot to do with Hippolyta, considering use this device to mess up another planet, for example. I haven't even really got on speed, but these drones were so mighty, for example, like they legit were moving fast to where Hippolyta had to compare the speed to god of speed level beings like Hermes and even Diana, who's also a speedster S-type character, freaking Wonder Woman. So there's implications that Hippolyta has to be up there with the powerhouses, because when it comes to these drones, we actually see her put in work against some of these drones. Like we see straight up punches, her using her lasso and gear and everything put together against these type of things. This kind of gives you some writer intent that she's apparently fighting against threats that can destroy the Earth. The true Imperiex was trying to renew this universe, but these were just drones, of course. But Hippolyta was fighting these powerful behind drones. Using her skills with her strength and everything put together, we see her do this to them. No head to this drone. So when it comes to her punching power and things like that, I mean, this shouldn't be really that much of a debate. I mean, we know how powerhouses in DC are. These drones were fighting Superman. I wasn't playing about these probes actually fighting Superman, somebody we know can destroy way more than planets. Is that really a surprise that someone like Hippolyta would have the cutting power or punching power, kicking power to devastate an entire planet? I mean, that's just common DC powerhouse stuff. This is actually ridiculously low end. I mean, there's implications with writer intent that her punches can actually hurt Wonder Woman herself with her punches, implying there could be similar in physical strength. We've actually seen her get punched by Wonder Woman, so it lets you know her durability, that she can take assaults from stuff like this, cars being rammed into her like it's no big deal. She can take as much as she can dish out, implying there's writer intent. They want her to be somewhere in the ballpark with Wonder Woman herself. One could say this could be an exaggeration, but these Nazi beings are implied to be apparently the same strength as a Wonder Woman. Apparently, take that with a grain of salt, of course. These same entities that are apparently as strong as Wonder Woman, which is definitely probably not true, but whatever, they tried to gang up on Hippolyta. She's not a defenseless as you think. She goes and gets her gear, armors up, and goes to town on all of you with her blades, fighting skills, strength, and everything, cutting through y'all like butter. 1v everyone, soloing all of you on her own. So I'll let you know, just because you're apparently on her strength level doesn't matter. She has superior skills. What you going to do about that? You know how earlier I mentioned how Wonder Woman can pull entire planets like Earth? She was a helpful aid in moving the moon too, along with Green Lantern and Superman. Hippolyta could be implied to be in this level of raw power too. It just really depends on how you perceive feats like this of her punching Wonder Woman. She goes really far, implied to be hurt or staggered from the hits. Strength wise, these feats could imply they're around the same strength of power, same range of power. She's clearly above planet busting levels, but to what degree it's really unknown. Just probably leagues above planet busting level, just like most DC powerhouses by default, right? Even if she's not necessarily equal to Superman in them, even if she's 1/10, she still would technically be way above planet busting anyway, honestly. I mean, when she was mind controlled, she boxed it up with freaking Lobo, for Pete's sake, before it was interrupted. And we know Lobo is one of them type of beings that can literally box it with a literal star. We've seen Lobo actually box it out with entities like this. Stellar mass, heavyweight star beings. He pulls, punches, and attacks. And Hippolyta boxed it up with somebody this strong like Lobo, for example. So you guys already know they kind of writer intently put her in that strength league. Meaning saying she can tremble or devastate Earth with her punches is an oversimplification. It would be more logical saying her punches can tremble millions or thousands of Earths if she can fight beings that have the strength to fight literal star beings that have stellar mass or pull things that are as heavy as stars. I mean, in newer continuity stuff like Rebirth, this is not like something that's unheard of when it comes to stars. Because most of these feats are more than star busting or more impressive than pulling a star anyway, but this is not something out of the realm of possibility of these gods in DC, for example. Like Apollo's one of the gods in DC that can move stars and stuff, and Wonder Woman implied she could if she was put in a situation in newer comics. So there's not only implications that Hippolyta could possibly hold the planet like other powerhouses could, but also heavier stuff. Like stuff that makes Earth look small, for example. Like the sun is implied she might be able to hold too. Well, we ain't really seen her do it, but it's a possibility based on the writer intent of them wanting her to be in a certain power level with the powerhouses. Her punches might actually feel like a star landing on your face or some crap. Even though she's nowhere near as big as a star, it's implied her punches might be able to hit something like this, smashing onto your face with the mass of it. You know, that's how it would feel. Even when it comes to new gods, we see her punch like Orion, somebody that's definitely Superman-centric or level to some degree. We see Hippolyta be able to harm such beings with her strikes. And the fact that she's not intimidated by him. They even go as far as saying you tamed Orion. Even got Martian Manhunter's respect. She even fought this godly being, the Codus, Destroyer of Life. We didn't get to see it, but it implied she fought him. In newer comics, you can literally see her getting a little slugfest with Grail, Darkseid's daughter. Hitting her here and drawing blood lets you know she's not a featherweight. Blood. I will admit, though, she did get overpowered here eventually and got captured. How she got captured happened off screen, though, but Hippolyta should not be underestimated still, even in newer stuff. And I brought this up earlier, but there's implied that she does have speed, too. Along with this gear she's using, she uses her speed in combat. One could say this could help her striking power because she's able to avoid attacks or beams with her fighting speed or just dodging or fighting instinct. I shouldn't even have to show this, but if you see my Wonder Woman video, you know when it comes to fighting speed or combat speed, Wonder Woman can deflect bullets, react to them with her reflexes. The same thing should go for Hippolyta when it comes to her fighting speed, blocking and reacting to such things with her fighting speed. And this is a bare minimum. Even in newer comics, she can deflect bullets, fighting speed with the bracelets, standard Wonder Woman stuff, implied to be able to sprint really fast, super speed. Stuff like this pretty much proves she's way faster than bullets. She can literally lasso things moving at the speed of light. She can lasso photon. Photons have speed equal to the speed of light. So just like Wonder Woman, she's massively faster than the speed of light. Hippolyta is probably way faster than the speed of light as well, based on stuff like this. I mean, if she can move her lasso like this, that stuff moving at this incredible speed, how fast do you think her fist can move? Oh, and just for those curious, when it comes to Hexy's type stuff, when she was Wonder Woman here, dressed up as Wonder Woman, looking epic, you can't age her into dust because she's technically immortal. You can't age her. There's this super strong being, for example, that can take hits from Superman, heat vision, and give him some issues, of course. It's impressive that Hippolyta is able to pull up on him and actually draw blood with a punch, despite her not necessarily being a match for him in this state. Like, you see this guy clashing arms with Superman himself, hardly taking damage, really. This being's kind of a team buster, low-key, so for her to even be able to draw blood from him, block attacks, or even stagger him, it's impressive. What if I told you she technically got one could say a permanent power-up when she pretty much gets Divinity after she gets reborn? See, what had happened is that she actually died and the writers used this as an opportunity. Oh, we're going to resurrect her and give her more power than before. Like, yeah, she was literally in the sphere of the gods, Mount Olympus, a place where time works differently. She doesn't know how long she's been here or how long she's been running. She reaches the goddesses. They pretty much said she needs to stop staying by the gods because she's pretty much a deity now. Being a deity has its perks, like she has energy projective blast powers similar to Zeus, like blasting lightning, for example. She can travel from the god sphere to the human realm now, or the planet, back and forth between dimensions and things of that such. So it's no telling how powerful she is right here, though. What do you guys think? What do you think her power level is like this being a deity? I mean, seriously, how strong is she, though? Like, when Shazam was, like, depowered, you know how he gets the power from the gods and stuff. Like, I'm talking about bro was so depowered, he would say Shazam, he wouldn't even get much bigger. Still looking like a skeleton. But Hippolyta can fix him up and heal him right up, restoring his strength. She's mighty enough in this state to where she can do the little wizard Shazam thing, to where the goddesses, she's one of the goddesses that can grant you power, the stamina of Artemis, the agility of the moon's hood Selene, the flight of Zephyrus, she of the west wind, the wisdom of Minerva, the invulnerability of Aurora, and the strength of Hippolyta, implying that Hippolyta has crazy strength to empower Mary Marvel. As you can see, she can power people up with the goddess power by speaking the word Shazam. So yeah. But at the end of the day, everybody, all of this is just me. You gotta respect her. Hippolyta. She ain't no joke, is she? But before I get going, gotta say thank you to you all real quick that have donated to the channel. Helps out a lot. Respect Hippolyta. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.